Coming up on Activate Live, good news from IAM District Lodge 4, fixing NAFTA, another union relief flight to Puerto Rico, and ways to show your support for union-made products and jobs in the U.S. and Canada. That's next on Activate Live.
Activate your voice!
Activate it now.
Voice activation.
Live from Maryland, this is Activate Live.
We are 12 days away from Christmas, 8 days away from the winter solstice, and Hanukkah just began last night. It's the time of year we focus on joy and peace. To union members, that also means service to the community. It's something we do year-round, but it takes on a special meaning this time of year. There are machinists all over the United States and Canada giving back to their communities. And we'll get to that shortly, but first, Delane Adams joins us with the latest.
Hello, Tanya. How are you?
Hello.
Good.
You're smiling. You have good news.
Good news. Very good news. Really want to give a big congratulations to members at Local 4 at Charlotte Hall Veterans Home in Charlotte Hall, Maryland. As you remember, a lot of the people who watched the show, we featured them. They did a picket a few weeks ago.
Yeah, there's one of the photos from the picket.
Yeah, that's Jamie and her father, Jimmy. And Jimmy, he's a Navy veteran. So, again, a lot of veterans came out during this action, and Jimmy was one of those veterans who came out to picket for a fair contract, and that's what happened. So they have a 2-year agreement that increased wages and benefits. So goes to show you that, you know, getting active, it works, being able to get your voice heard, and look as a result, they were able to get a good, fair contract. So congratulations to the members of Local 4. And welcome to the IAM. 218 members with their first contract as
wonderful.
machinist members. So
we remember people were driving down Route 4 and can see them with the signs, and you know, it makes a difference, like you said, to make your voices heard.
It does. It does. So, you know, a lot of good stuff going on. And then today we had the press conference, replaced NAFTA press conference by the Global Trade Watch Group.
Also, Bernie Sanders here.
We had Senator Bernie Sanders. So it was a good group that was out there. And, you know, as you know, NAFTA negotiations are taking place right now here in the D.C. area. So we wanted to participate in this press conference to make it known that workers need to be put first. Any type of negotiations, especially what's going on now. And then they'll finish up their last round of negotiations in Canada. So hopefully the IAM and our allies will weigh in heavily in those negotiations as well.
That's right. We want nothing but jobs in all 3 countries. You know, and the United States wants jobs, Canada wants jobs, Mexico wants jobs, but we want it to be fair.
We do, and we need to raise the standards for all workers in Mexico, Canada, and of course here as well. So yes, we need to all participate and do better.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And we're going to see you next year. We'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, Delane.
All right.
Oh, Delane, I have to ask you a question though. Behind me, I have this really sparkly sweater that's really ugly, and this was my ugly sweater, okay? And it was very itchy, but if anybody's wondering why, we're kind of in a like holiday mode here. I just put it back there because I'm never wearing this again, you know, so. Would you wear that?
I would not.
Okay,
I would not.
that's what I'm saying, okay.
Yeah. So
thanks, Delane.
on that note, I think I'll leave now.
Thank you, Delane.
Take care.
Well, if you're just joining us, we mentioned at the top of the show how the best in all of us comes out during the holiday season, unless you're wearing an ugly sweater. We highlight our slogan about service to the community, whether it's down the street, across town, or across the globe. Well, Delane and I, last week, were in Philadelphia, and IAM Locals 1776 in the Philadelphia area gathered donations with the help of AFL-CIO affiliates, including the Transport Workers Union, to send to working families still struggling in Puerto Rico. All kinds of essential items were packed and loaded up in trucks, including diapers and tarps. It all added up to 60,000 pounds of supplies that went to the American Airlines Air Cargo facility. Now, this is community service in action, and we're so thankful for all of the hard work from our members, the AFL-CIO, and Americans. So keep up the good work. Well, members of our labor music band, Union Nation, were guests at WPFW Radio in Washington, D.C. yesterday. I stopped down there, and 4 members of the band were there being interviewed and playing original songs, along with co-founder Henry Bagwell, who you see on the right there. Alex Stone, Danette Jones, Mac McKinney, and Dustin Fountain spoke to Chris Garlock, the host of the Metro Washington Labor Council, during the Union City version of Live at 5. They sounded great. Union Nation just released its 2nd CD, Wake Up, Rise Up, Stand Strong, which makes a great holiday gift. Downloads are still available at unionnation.com. That's unionnation.com. And you can get the first CD as well. If you want to get both CDs, you can. They're double CDs. Well, the Machinists Union always fights for job security, higher wages, and improved benefits. And we've introduced you before to BuildBuyUSA, whose mission is to bring back well-paying, sustainable manufacturing jobs through the power of our wallets. Well, BuildBuyUSA promotes rewarding employers who respect workers' rights, who respect the environment, and also who hire from the community. Well, we have some stats for you. Did you know that 62% of Americans say they'd be willing to pay more for American-made goods? I'd be willing to pay more. If we each spent $64 a year more on union made in the USA, or even just in made in the USA, we would create 200,000 more jobs. That's a lot of jobs. Well, Sandra Engle of BuildBuyUSA is joining us from Detroit, even though she's got a blizzard going on outside. Thank you so much for joining us, Sandra.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Woody, for having me again.
Well, just in time for the holidays, you have these downloadable gift tags that are not just made in America, but they're union-made products as well. They're adorable. And they tell us a little bit about how these came about.
Well, they came about because for as long as I've been a union member and an activist, we've always promoted within the whole idea of buying what we build, right? And made in USA. But honestly, what is the good of that if we're not also communicating to others, to communicating to the people we shop from, to communicating to our neighbors and friends that we do that we're voting with our wallets? And so we thought this would be a really easy thing for consumers to add, that if you're going to take the effort to buy American, knowing the value of what it is to support American jobs, you should tell the person that that's an additional layer to the gift that you're presenting them. So we have a great creative team on BuildBuyUSA. Matt's our designer; he's an artist, and I think there's the graphics he came up with are great and really applicable to. It doesn't really matter what holiday you celebrate. There's going to be a tag there for you to add to your gift.
Now, what constitutes made in America? Because I know some countries have certain requirements.
Yeah, so in the United States, it's actually a trick box of about half a dozen different laws that overlap. The good news is the standard for something to be labeling itself made in USA or made in America is pretty high. It means that substantially all or almost all of the product has to be made here, of components that are here. Which is a good thing, because when you water down the definition, you're really watering down the value of what Made in the USA stands for. But there's a couple of bad parts to that, too. The FTC regulates what is made in America, but they also don't really police it, meaning that they don't have inspectors assigned to go out and inspect whether something is mislabeled or not. They really they're relying on people self-policing and reporting things that are mislabeled. Now, honestly, is the average consumer going to be able to tell if something is made in the USA or not? Unlikely. So what ends up happening is that competitors kind of end up turning each other in to the FTC. And so it's not a perfect process in that respect. The other thing that's not good is that the definition of made in the USA is a very high standard for consumer goods, but when it comes to government procurement, and again, government buys a lot of goods to keep our country running, they've watered down the definition, and it's basically just if it's more than 50% content American, it can be called Made in the USA. And as a result of that, it really has sort of watered down the effectiveness of what governments can purchase, and it's something that we should be talking about.
So it sounds like we really have to make our voices heard if we do find something on our own, if the FCC isn't policing it.
Agreed.
But it's hard,
and
as you said.
It's very difficult. But it really, honestly, I think it's one of those things where the people who are supportive of this kind of have a lot of knowledge about it, but we really need to build those bridges with other kinds of consumers who believe in ethical shopping, who might, they might want to buy local, they might want to buy sweatshop free. They consider the power of their wallet. They might not necessarily look at it as like, supporting union workers, but they understand that when they purchase, they're voting for something, right? They're voting for the person who's making that. They're voting for giving profits to the company that made that. And if we don't talk about ourselves and our values and why we do what we do and make those connections with them, all we're doing is keeping our good works to ourselves. And the only way we're going to be able to really build this is by having those lines of communication, talking about why we do what we do. And these gift tags are a really good way to sort of communicate to the outside world. I really support American jobs, and I thought about that when I bought this present for you.
Now, you mentioned sweatshops, and on your website it says that made in the USA doesn't mean a free pass. Talk a little bit about the need to look at the record of a company when it comes to treatment of workers, safety of workers, the environment and the community.
Yeah, this is an important distinction. When we say internally at BuildBuyUSA that if it's made in the USA by union workers, that's the gold standard. And it's a gold standard because overall, the union workers have the highest quality when it comes to their products. And one of the reasons that they do is that they feel a lot of internal comfort within the collective bargaining process to talk to their employer about improvements to the product. Every day you read stories about how if you're non-union and don't have those protections, workers are not that comfortable, whistleblowing on their employer about a deficiency or some issue with the product. And so collective bargaining gives workers a process and a format within which to say, hey, we need to improve this process isn't working, or hey, we need to improve this is a danger to consumers, and get that resolved. And so there's a lot of data to back that up. There's a lot of awards that union-made products make all the time. And so we think that does set a gold standard. Now, you can be made in the USA, and we should support you. However, just because you make it here doesn't mean that we should automatically give you a free pass and buy all your products, because you can make it here and still be not good to your workers, right? Not respect their rights to organize, have unsafe work sites, not hire from the community, be terrible to the environment. And those are all factors that you have to think about before you give your hard-earned dollars to support a company. And right now, there's a lot of ways that you can research this online. You could go to the NLRB, type in the name of the company, and get their labor record. Find out if there are unfair labor practice charges against them. You could go into OSHA to find out what the safety history there is. You can go and do a lot of research to find out about something. And especially when you're talking about an expensive purchase, like a vehicle or an appliance or something that's like a capital investment in your home, these are things that we should be doing, because again, when you purchase something, you're putting a stamp of approval on the person that you purchased it from and saying, I approve of you. I want you to be more profitable, and I'm standing behind you by buying this product.
So you read my mind, because I was going to ask you, what resources are there for people to kind of go and look at their records, and you mentioned them, to check with OSHA. So thank you so much for doing that, because as you said,
Tanya,
it's
I couldn't hear any of that. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Sandra? Oh, I think we might have lost Sandra.
I still
Sandra,
can't
can you hear me?
you, but let me tell you about the next steps for Build Buy.
Yes, thank you.
We're heading into next year. We're going to be doing much more of these kind of consumer action type campaigns. We really want to start to really knit together this coalition of consumer groups of people who are consumers who are focused on doing things like using the power of their wallet to just push for a better community, push for a better country. We are also getting ready to launch a song contest, and we're going to have more details about that coming after the first of the year, which we're pretty excited about.
Thank you so much, Sandra Engle from BuildBuyUSA. We were talking all about these gift tags that you can download from the website, buildbuyusa.org. They're great. They say American made for the holidays, made in the USA for you.
Tanya, I lost all the sound with you.
Oh, but I can hear you, so thank you so much, Sandra. There's another one that says made by Union Elves. These are great tags, and you just download them from the website, cut them out. You can download them and print them on photo paper and, use a little hole puncher, and they look great. This is about the size of them. So we're really hoping that this promotes union-made products, and people can research the products because we want to make sure what we're buying is made in a humane way. So we also have members in Canada, and Canada has the equivalent of Made in America, but there are two distinctions. Product of Canada, which means 98% of the total direct costs of producing or manufacturing the goods have been incurred in Canada. So that's product of Canada. To be labeled Made in Canada, at least 51% of the total direct costs of producing or manufacturing the goods must have been incurred in Canada. And it also has to have a statement accompanying it saying something like made in Canada with imported parts. So this is more similar to what is in the United States because Sandra had mentioned that we had to have at least 51% in the United States as well. If you live in Canada or you're buying something in Canada, for more information on what's available to buy, you can visit the website buycanadianfirst.ca. That's buycanadianfirst.ca. And I just want to thank Orly and Frank Saptel up in our Canadian territory for getting us all of that information. So we are just so thankful for you for watching. But before we go, I want to give a little shout out to some people who are some of our regulars. Ramon Garcia is giving a shout out to the brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico. He says, we are with you. We have so many union members that are just very happy about what we're doing in terms of service to the community. So you can share your comments with us as well, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Send us your comments. Let us know what you think about our community service and the relief efforts in Puerto Rico. Let us know what you think about Build by USA and about these new gift tags that are available to download. You still have time to do this and show your support for either American companies or union-made companies. And don't forget about Canada, because we're in Canada too. You can still go to that website, buycanadianfirst.ca. Terry Crutchfield's watching us. Brian Collis, he always says woohoo. So woohoo back to you, Brian Collis. But we would like to thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of the union members out there for all that you've done to help create better lives for working people. If you like this video, please share it. The show is going on hiatus for winter break, so we'll see you in 3 weeks on January 3rd. So mark your calendar, January 3rd. And we'd like to say happy holidays to everyone out there, all of the union members, all of the people who want to be union members, and we will see you next year in 2018.